Welcome back. This is Breakfast with the Boys +1 on MUVI TV. Mainda Simataa has joined us and is the Socialist Party activist. Good morning.
Good morning, Comrade Kausa.
It's been a while. We were just saying this offset.
Indeed, it's been, we've been trying to sit back a while, get our bearings right, and come back again.
Okay,
hopefully.
So just quickly, which red is this? Is red in... I know that there's Socialist Party written there, but from the sporty point of view, is it Manchester United or Nkana? Because none of the two teams is performing well. Well, the English Premier League is done and dusted. Sixth position with 66 points, so proper 666 for Manchester United. Nkana not performing very well. So is it Nkana or Manchester United?
Well, when I was coming on my way here, somebody mistook me to be a Manchester United fan. So I said, I have a Manchester United. So I think I'll go with the opinion of the person who said it was a Man U jersey or color, if you like.
So you're an activist for the Socialist Party.
Indeed.
A lot of people will argue that, socialism has died pretty much.
Well, they are wrong to start with. And they are wrong because they do not understand. And we understand why the people don't understand or why others think that socialism has died. But socialism as an ideology of liberating people from poverty is still much alive, and it's actually on the rebound. Because capitalism, this system that you're using in Zambia, where you sell all your mines to the Indian and Chinese investors who are not interested in the well-being of this country, this system where your major commercial farms and your major shopping malls and major trading institutions and industries are all foreign-owned, and you as Zambians don't own anything there, you can't even take tax from there. That system of capitalism is what we, the socialists, are saying it must be changed, because you must understand that before you can liberate people, before you can improve the standards of living for the people, healthcare, education, employment, good salaries, you must be able to take charge of your economy and ensure that all the means of production, land, industries, mining, agriculture, are built and structured in such a way that the Zambian people, the indigenous people, benefit from that. That is what socialism is. It's about improving the welfare of people, improving the lives of people, taking charge of the economy. And I'm afraid that's something that the PF government or governments from the MMD times have consistently failed to do. And for us, that's why we have a position that Zambia is not a democracy at all. It's a dictatorship. And the ruling party, PF, is a terrorist organization. That is why they can order you to submit your footage without even having a dialogue with you. That's why they can meet at NDF and have dark corner meetings for them to think around and change the constitution. That's why they can impose the learning of Chinese on our children, because the PF is a dictatorship. They are a terrorist organization. And what does a terrorist organization do? It instills fear in you. Instills fear in you so that you cannot speak freely, instills fear in you so that you cannot oppose it. And that is something that we as a Socialist Party are very much against. And that's why we didn't even attend the NDF, because we knew what would come out of there. It's total dictatorship. This country is a dictatorship, and we are ruled by a terrorist organization.
You're speaking freely in a terrorist era where people are not supposed to be speaking freely.
Well, we don't have any choice. What choice do we have? Because we speak, we are persecuted. We don't speak, we are still persecuted. So it's better we take a chance and speak and hope that other people who are listening in to us, other people who agree that this country is going downward in terms of the economy, it's going wayward in terms of politics, also rise up to speak and take a position to try and bring this country back on track. Because the way things are going, Kausa, we've reached rock bottom. I don't know if with this country we can sink any lower than we are. We need people who can be able to speak their mind, speak the truth, and ensure to say that some of this tinkering of the Constitution, this kind of dark corner meetings where people are politically engineering the Constitution so that they can come back in 2021 and progress and continue to exploit this country economically, those things we have to put a stop to. And I can assure you that as long as we remain in our separate cocoons, we are afraid to speak out, we are afraid to look over our shoulders and do the right thing, I think this thing will continue to happen, and we'll find ourselves in deeper waters, in trouble in terms of the economy. You're talking about the 4% increment. That is nothing. I mean, basic arithmetic will tell you to say that that is not even in tandem with inflation. In 2 weeks, the kwacha has risen from 11 to 14%.
And I have a friend
yes.
who was actually the producer for this particular show. He says, the kwacha has not reached 14. It's passing 14, so it is not arrived. It's
Indeed.
going somewhere.
So you're talking about an inflation rate of about 40%, and your increment is what? 4%.
4%. Yeah.
Goods are going to rise in tandem with the production costs. Soon your salary, we could well say that salaries have been reduced. Technically, our salaries, our earnings are being reduced.
Yeah.
That is the logic. So the 4% is nothing to talk about. If you look at the copper mines, they're slowing down, production is slowing down, mines are shedding out, are trying to shed jobs. They're trying to survive. And they're trying to survive because they are capitalists. They believe in profit. They're not making profit. They'll always look to reduce workers. And here is a head of state who says, we are going to divorce. He's not going to do it. He's kidding. It's a political statement. And I can assure you, if you go to the boardrooms of these managing directors of these mines, they'll say, oh, it's just politics. He's just trying to appease the people to calm them down. And that's what it is. KCM is a saga that's been going on since 2002. It's never been rectified. Now the doves are coming home to roost. We are being beaten back. And this is when some people want to come out and seem as if they are saints. No, 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 no. The structural economy, the setup of the Zambian economy is capitalist and it's not helping us. We need to change the structure of the economy. And that's where we socialists
Do you
come in.
feel that the socialist background from which we're coming in the UNIP days has helped? Because there is this dependency, high dependency on government. Everybody says, Boma Yanganepo, Boma Yanganepo. It's like people were so used to this aspect of somebody doing something for them as opposed to people getting up and doing something for themselves.
Yes, Boma ifunika yanganepo. Why does government exist? Boma ifunika yanganepo. You know, people want to wafuna nchito, want to wafunika education, wafunika proper health services. Those things are there. That's why government exists. Government exists for two moral reasons. One, to protect you, and two, to empower you. Protect you from what? Protect you from hunger, protect you from poverty, protect you if you are awake from exploitation. That's what government exists to do. And empower you, how? To ensure that you have a better life. You are able to afford the cost of living. You're able to lead a better, dignified life. That is what government is. So we have no shame as socialists to say that government, to a large extent, must play a constructive role in the welfare of the people. That's what it is. And by the way, when people look at UNIP and look at the dictatorial past and mix it up with socialism, they think that's what socialism is. No, that is not socialism. In fact, there are very few countries in the world, if none, that have been able to practice socialism as it should be. Socialism is an ideal, okay? That's why some think of it as some kind of religion, you know? We believe in the achievement of the dignity of the human being, where you have enough food to eat, where you dress decently, where you are educated, you've got proper health care. Those are the things we believe in. And if any Zambian is against that, then we have a problem. And when you talk about education, Kelvin was talking about the reduction of fees in terms of education. As socialists, we say education must be free. Free, totally free. That's a human right.
Now, Simataa, you said there is none or very few countries have managed to lead countries using as socialist.
Yeah.
You are coming here representing the Socialist Party. Should we say even you as a political party, when given the mandate to govern Zambia, you can't live according to to ideologies of socialism?
Comrade Kelvin, how many governments in the world have delivered on their promises to the people? Check all the countries in the world. How many have ever delivered what they promised the people? None whatsoever.
Except Trump, and I'll build a wall.
Oh, no. They don't, you know. What we are saying as socialists is that, by and large, the dignity of the human being has to be achieved. We are not saying that everyone should have a Mercedes-Benz, a BMW, and a swimming pool behind their backyards. No. What we are saying is that no one should go to bed hungry. Nobody should die because the women who are dying in hospitals, we are saying nobody should die simply because they lack a health facility, or that all the drugs in the clinic or the hospital have been stolen, or because we don't have them because donors have frozen money. No, we are saying that everybody must eat, everybody must have shelter, everybody must dress decently, everybody must have access to health care and education, and everyone at least must have a job. If you don't have a job, the state must find a way of empowering you. That's why you see civilized and advanced, what you'd call social democratic countries in the Scandinavians. If you don't work, they'll pay you. They'll compensate you for not having a job. Why? Because they understand to say that a job or productivity is very important for human life. And if you don't have those, then you have a problem. But what do we have here in Zambia? We have a government where when a minister breaks their little finger, they're evacuated to South Africa. Meanwhile, somebody has got 42 needles in their body, and you are still treating them at a substandard hospital. Where is the priority in that? So we have to look at those issues and ask ourselves pertinent questions. What kind of Zambia do we want to build? And as socialists, we are saying that the model of building a country is, number one, ensure to say that your economic base, your productive forces, your industry, your land, your farms, your mines are held by the people themselves, are owned and controlled by the people. The people must be shareholders. The people must not just be wage workers and slaves who get 900 kwacha at the end of the day, or get 20 kwacha per day if you're working for the Chinese. No, we are saying that the people, the owners of the means of production, Zambians, must own the economy. Once you own and control the economy, once you understand how economics works, and by the way, that's the unique thing about us socialists, because all socialist activists, all socialist cadres are educated in political economy, because you have to understand how things work before you can lead a nation.
That sounds like a dream. Selling a song. I mean, here is a country where, you know, access to education is problematic. Are you telling me that, you know, to belong to the Socialist Party, one must apply with papers?
No, no. We're talking about the cadreship of the party.
Yes.
We're talking about the cadreship. We're not saying everyone or every member must have those qualifications, no.
Yeah.
But what we are saying that if you are going to be a leader,
Yeah.
we've got a very high bar in the Socialist Party for you to be a leader.
Yeah.
You can't be a leader when you are ignorant, because you lead you mean, how can you lead when you're blind? You must know what you are doing. When you're looking at aspects of the economy, you must know what you are talking about. You must know just politics. And that's the difference with these other political parties. The only thing that you understand is the politics. Oh, this is wrong. Oh, PF is doing that. Oh, no, no, no. You must understand the base, because everything that happens in a country is held by the base of the economy. If you don't understand how it's connected to the economy, you'll never be able to liberate a nation. So we're talking about the leadership of the Socialist Party, the cadreship of the leadership.
And you feel we need liberation?
We do need liberation, absolutely. We have never needed liberation more than we need it now. Because you see, Zambia is one of the richest countries on the African continent.
Liberation from what, really?
I said in my preamble to say that Zambia is a dictatorship and the PF is a terrorist organization. The liberation that we need is from this dictatorship, from this terrorist organization, and most importantly, from poverty. Because people are not fighting for ideologies like such as socialism, no? People are fighting because they want material benefits. They want a better life. They want a better life for themselves and the future of their children. And we are saying that that is the liberation that we need in Zambia. We need economic liberation as well as political liberation.
Let me understand, because you're talking about understanding the economy. So from your understanding, why are we at this particular juncture in terms of our debt? Why are we at this particular juncture in terms of our food stocks? Why are we at this particular juncture? That's bearing in mind also the weather patterns. Why are we at this juncture regarding governance?
In one answer, I'll tell you we are in this mess economically because we've got incompetent people in government. As simple as that. Incompetent, criminal, and corrupt. That is why we are in this particular position. And this tendency of criminality and being corrupt has existed since the times of the MMD. Because
I thought one is only a criminal when convicted, by and large. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. Let's pick up this call. And good morning. You're through to Breakfast with the Boys.
Thank you. Kumba is my name from Western Province.
Your name again? Kumba.
Kumba.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead.
One, they revised the school fees. To claim that it is 150 and 200 is not true. Publicly, the minister said it was a rural, but in the policy directive that has been given and circulated to schools, they are talking about remote and the others. Okay?
Yep.
Remote 150 kwacha and the others 200 kwacha, meaning that includes rural, urban and the urban, all of them 200 kwacha. And practically so far in Zambia, especially where I stay, I've not seen a school in remote that is charging even 150 kwacha. Most of the remote schools, upper primary, they were charging less than 100 kwacha or up to 100 kwacha. Only those in rural. I think those were supposed to be described as remote. They are described as rural. like Sohole Secondary School, Ukona, Rukulu. So meaning government wants schools to charge 200 kwacha for day scholars. There is nothing like it. Rukulu and Urban, it's remote, and look for that policy direction. Talking about the NDF, that was a gathering of selfish people to protect their positions and their state power. It was nothing constitutional refinement. It was constitutional refinement. We had some articles in the constitution did not speak to each other, so they needed to correct that. But now, was the lack of deputy minister in Hakuna in the constitution. The election of mayors and the council chairperson was that the DF gathered to remove that. Meaning what they did there, it was just to protect their positions as politicians, using their sympathizers whom they gave certain material that was not given to everybody. To tell you the truth, what happened there is a basic explanation that should wait for, especially use the socialist and other opposition political parties. Go to the people, tell them what PF is slowly executing them, using places and some decisions which are not good for the nation. Even saying the minister should stay. Why didn't they say the minister should be appointed from outside the government, so that National Assembly, so that they would concentrate than introducing the deputy ministers to be waiting, which is rubbish, and even the MP to stay during the campaign when he's not really waiting for the people. It's just because they want to draw the salary, that's why they need to stay for 5 years until they hand over to another parliament, which is selfish. And even the gratuity, are they given for the number of days they have been in the parliament, or given for 5 years gratuity? So I think what happened is they are still the truth is not in the interest of Zambians, of PF and its sympathizers. No wonder it was described as PF conference and not National Dialogue Forum. This is my contribution thing.
Louis Tumez. Strong words, Kelvin.
Strong words. At first, we were told the National Dialogue Forum was there to look at the lacunas that exist in the current constitution. And now Nkumbu has brought in a very important question, say, was the issue of deputy ministers a lacuna? Was the issue of members of parliament staying in office a lacuna?
Let's pick this one up even as we are prepared to let Mainda go. Good morning, you're through to Breakfast with the Boys.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Kausa.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
This is Mr. Moisa.
Okay, Mr. Moisa, go ahead.
From Chipata.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying your program, but I've got very few concerns to make. I want to ask a very simple question.
Yes.
What is the difference between the National Constitution Conference and the NDF?
Mm-hmm.
Then let me talk about the few amendments they want to approve through Parliament because they've got the numbers. That agenda that was pushed there is not what is called the national character, because it lacks the majority of the Zambians. They're not happy with it. And please, the people that are in government, if they could listen, even if they can do whatever it is, but if the people of Zambia say they don't want this, that to stand. The issue of deputy ministers, since when did everyone complain to say we need back the deputy ministers? When the government itself is admitting that they are broke. They can't pay CBU. They can't pay University of Zambia. They can't pay post. They can't pay, what is this? The
National Housing Authority.
The Ratsa people. Now tell me, what impact will it bring? Already the government is saying we are burdened, we can't pay this. And you want to bring again deputy minister. We don't have the heart for our people, Zambia. The so-called now Chinese want to be official language in Zambia. Zambia belongs to Zambians. We don't want foreigners here. This is our land. And for me, I can die for my Zambia, not for a Chinese. We cannot have teachers in Zambia who've got millions on the streets.
Okay.
And then want to legalize Chinese in Zambia. No, we don't want this. Zambia belongs to Zambia.
All right. Thank you. I should have gotten your thoughts on Konyagi. But NCC, NDF,
The
difference?
Well, I wouldn't answer that. I wouldn't be the best person to answer that because I've really lost track of what the NCC was all about. But all I know, it was another caricature organized forum where they wanted to push in their own agendas. But coming to the NDF, which I'm more familiar with and particularly interested in because I'm representing the Socialist
You're interested,
Party.
but you didn't attend.
No, we know. I mean, look, I was telling somebody, say, if you're a Christian and the devil called a meeting on the revision of the Bible, would you attend that meeting? That is a perfect example I gave you. The devil calls for a meeting and calls all Christians come together. We want to revise, we want to do some amendments on the Bible. Would you even attend it?
So this was...
So fundamentally, it was a flawed program from the very
devil's
start.
meeting.
Exactly, you can call
Calling
it that.
Christians.
Yes.
So
to say,
Simataa, who is a Christian, didn't attend.
that's why we didn't attend, because we are moral people. Socialists are moral people. Those people who were at the NDF were immoral people. And I can tell you, like the callers, they are very right about what they're saying. In fact, 98% of Zambians who know about this NDF have seen through it. And what it's all about, it's ensuring, it's political engineering, tinkering here and there, putting spanners here and there to ensure to say that they do come back and create positions for their cadres. You don't need to bring back, in these economic times, you want to increase the number of people in the cabinet from 30 to 60, add the deputy, the provincial ministers, a cabinet of 80. You want mayors to be elected within the council, meaning you are reducing the influence of those people. You want the campaign period, and we are particularly interested in that as a Socialist Party. Yes, from 90 days. 90 days actually. Yes, 90 days was never enough, and you're bringing it down to 60 days. How do we cover?
MPs should continue.
MPs should continue. You are giving them an
What
unfair
if
advantage.
he hasn't been adopted?
You have given those MPs an unfair advantage to have use government machinery and resources right up to the day of the elections. How do we compete with them? They have been campaigning for the past 5 years and they want us to campaign just for 60 days. How do we cover 117 districts in 60 days? That is simply meaning that say they want to curtail our freedoms further so that we don't talk to the people and bring out these issues and bring out our positions as political parties. So the whole thing about these amendments, and by the way, Comrade Kelvin and Comrade Kausa, you might not have heard this, they want to introduce electronic voting. Electronic voting. Now, what that means, comrade, is that this will open the way for massive rigging. Because electronically, how are we going to audit the ECZ results, which will be going to the database? That is the big major problem. And Zambians who are watching this must be alive to this.
Let's pick our last call. Good morning. You're through to Breakfast with the Boys.
Good morning. This is Henry calling from Chavuma.
Henry from Chavuma, we have 1 minute for you. Shoot.
Okay. I've seen on the introduction of Chinese in Zambia under ECZ exams. It's really bad what the government is trying to introduce, because if within a few 50 years after independence, people are still not English. But now, what if they introduce Chinese? Then second, today, but I'm a deputy ministers. So, really, now let's as Zambia, just stand up and see what we can do for this, because Chinese cannot be brought in Zambia kufunda Chinese. What else they want to Sambira or ministers? What else in Zambia? We don't have money. No. Thank you.
Okay, before you go, do you know of the spirit Konyagi?
Nani? Konyagi mwalimu ishi wa Konyagi, ubwalwa.
Okay, I'll to Tasha.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right, so as you exit, because your 5-year term has come to an end.
And we are not going to allow you to stay in office.
To stay in office while we are in this transition. There is the aspect, of course, of, which you've spoken about, the Chinese, and of course, the deputy ministers. But there's the thing about a spirit called konyagi, and it is alleged that this is an aphrodisiac. The question comes from the point, how do we have beverages on the Zambian market that are supposed aphrodisiacs when we have the Zambia Bureau of Standards, we have the Zambia Medical Regulatory Authority and the likes, all these, authorities to look at some of these things? How do we end up having some of these things on the market? How porous are our borders, both physical and virtual?
All right. To start with, I think I've seen some of these things on social media about that, the konyagi, whatever you call it, which is an aphrodisiac. But I want to say this. You say Zambia Bureau of what?
Standards.
What standards? When you've got so many porous, so many products and products on the Zambian market, most of which do not meet so-called standards. Zambia Bureau of Standards and every other institution which claims to be an institution that protects us or tries to protect the consumer from being exploited or from being sold products which are not ideal for human health. All these institutions that we have, they are rotten. They are rotten, they are defunct, and they are useless. And the sooner that we close them, the better, because now we'll be sparing people from taxpayers, contributing taxpayers' money towards
You want to close something that is defunct.
Yeah, they're useless. So we should do away with it.
I like your choice of words.
We have to rid ourselves of all these institutions, including the so-called Energy Regulation Board. What does it regulate? All these institutions, they are useless and they are costing us dear taxpayers' money. So standards, medical, whatever, they are all useless. We should get rid of them.
Okay, let's get rid of you.
But you're not useless. We're getting rid of you, but you're not useless.
I understand.
Thank you very much. We take a break as we get rid of Simataa.
Who is not useless?
Mainda Simataa, who's a Socialist Party activist. It's been very useful.
Yes.
Thank you, comrade, for coming through.
Always a pleasure, comrade.
Yeah.
Thank
We'll take a break.
you,
We'll be right back.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.